Same thing. I mean, the gold is, I'm lucky to be able to carry it through midnight. I will, just because I'll lose some money on some of the deals. But,
okay, so you're almost completely out. 1-800-686-2237. 800-686-2237. 800-686-2237. The brokers will be there till midnight tonight. Don't procrastinate. Call today. 1-800-686-2237. And if you're late or if you call and leave a message, then I know Ted in the past will hold the deal into tomorrow when the brokers give you a call. Does that still hold today if they get their call in?
Oh, absolutely. Just leave a message on the voice recorder. We're going to honor everybody. So
all right, 800-686-2237. You can't get this deal at MidasResources.com. You've got to call and say it's the Alex Jones, Ted Anderson radio special, 800-686-2237. Ted, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me up, Alex.
You bet. Going back to Gerald Celente, I appreciate holding the website again. We'll put up on screen for you right now for folks watching at prisonplanet.tv, trendsresearch.com. Gerald, I'm just going to throw this at you in the cold. I don't even know what your view is on this particularly. What do you think of people getting out of paper and moving partially into silver or gold? Is that generally a smart idea?
Well, we don't give investment advice, but I can tell you that I'm 80% invested in gold, and I keep buying it. And my strategy, by the way, is that I also hedge my currencies in the sense that I'll own dollars, but I'll also own euros. One goes up, the other goes down. I just want parity to keep what I have. This is about wealth preservation, and to us, gold is the wild card. But having said that, as you may or may not know, in our December 2001, we had said that gold prices had bottomed, and we've been bullish on gold since, and we're predicting in our forecast of gold 2000.
Really? Do you have an idea when?
No, it's hard to tell because, as you well know, these markets are being highly manipulated.
Sure.
And around the world, people are bailing out of bucks, as we spoke about earlier, and they're looking for a new reserve currency. I mentioned earlier that the Obama administration is holding out, coming out with their budget projections, waiting until the dead heat of summer when everyone's in a vacation state of mind and Congress isn't there. So there can be some very earth-shaking developments that are going to rattle the dollar. So it could happen at any time, but always remember that the game is going to be manipulated, because once the world wakes up to the idea that their fiat currencies aren't going to be worth the paper they're printed on, there's going to be a huge run to gold. Another very important aspect: there's only one member of the G20 out there that's really criticizing America for its stimulus, recovery, bailout, and buyout packages.
Germany.
And why?
Because of gold issues.
And they know what it's like. These are the people, the Weimar Republic. They still have the people alive that told the stories of going to a supermarket with a wheelbarrow of money. And they know how it happened, because they printed phantom money out of thin air based on nothing and producing practically nothing. So that's why we're bullish on gold.
But the bankers, to kill hyperinflation, aren't just loaning the money. So instead you have everything imploding while they print fiat to buy up real infrastructure. And then from the experts we've talked to, I want to see if you agree with the general economists we've had on, that then later the hyperinflation comes as an added nightmare over a depression economy, the untold superstorm or perfect storm of hyper-stagflation.
Yeah, that's very true. And depression, actually. It's hyperinflation and depression. Look at the numbers. You well know, depending on who you talk to, the effective unemployment rate is 18.7%. Others are saying the unofficial rate is 20%. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're really looking at. People going, these kids going to college, where are they going to get jobs doing what?
That's what I was about to say. You were saying the next big bubble is the college bubble. They're going into debt now for jobs that aren't even going to exist. And The commercial real estate, as you said on the show a year and a half ago, starting to implode. They're saying that's the next big one. Give us some of those trends. But going back to gold, because we've interviewed so many experts who are bullish or bearish on gold, but all of them acknowledge that everybody should be partially in gold and silver as a hedge against inflation, as an emergency parachute to just protect wealth, to make sure you've got something that can't be dissipated overnight like paper, but that speculatively, it's also the biggest boon in speculative, because if the dollar does implode or other major currencies, they're all over printing right now, as you know, that's kind of their answer, is global inflation, kind of at parity, that gold could go to 3,000-4,000.
Well, it can. It really can. You know, they keep, and then if there's war on top of this, because who knows? They keep talking about bombing Iran, Israel does, or invading them at some level. And we've said from the onset that if the United States or Israel attack Iran, it's the beginning of World War III. Because then you're going to start seeing oil prices go to the stratosphere along with gold prices. So there are so many wild cards out there that make for us gold a better forecast to go up than to go down. I mean, what could be the downside of gold? Gold as we see, could only go down if the unemployment rate in the United States goes back to 4.5%. We wipe out our trade deficits, our budget deficits, and that's highly unlikely.
And you're physically holding it. You can dump out of it if it starts going down, or you can wait till it goes back up the next time.
I have to tell you something. This is very important. I've been buying gold for a long time. And in life you have ups and downs, let's not be, fake about this. And I've had lean years in my life. What saved me was having gold. Because as you well know, getting rid of gold, cashing in gold isn't as easy as writing a check. So you really have to think twice and 3 times and 4 times before you unload that gold. And so you hold on to that store wealth that base of wealth without writing a check off to go spend it or to pay a debt.
Exactly.
And what I also did with my gold is I used it as collateral to borrow, knowing that I wanted that gold back. And I never had any problem borrowing money privately, having that as a backdrop. So I'm a firm believer in gold.
It's good as gold is the saying. I just wanted to bring that up because everything else is performing like hell right now. Treasuries almost have no yield. Everybody's running to them. And it's just an amazing scam we're witnessing. I want to go to calls for Gerald Celente here in just a moment in the time we have left. But, Gerald, how do you see, well, 2 questions before I forget. First, the flu hype killed maybe 200 people worldwide. They're talking about global forced inoculations. Is this the global World Trade Organization, World Health Organization cover to bring in control? Why are they saying, it's all over in the fall? They're the ones fear-mongering in government, A. And then B, is that kind of a backdrop? If they need to suppress revolution, they'll just hype up fear about flu, and then people will stand down, because that was said of Mexico.
What they're doing and why, we don't know. We're not on the inside, but I will tell you what we're forecasting. And we're forecasting that there's going to be something. And we're calling it the new black plague, and it's going to be real. You can't put poison in your food, in the air, in the water. You just can't keep poisoning the host without causing a host of problems. So there's going to be something that breaks down the immune systems. Is this really it? Probably not. Are the drug companies going to benefit from anything that happens? Absolutely. Will they use something like this as the false flag to declare martial law and to take the people that were once the home of the free and the brave into federal dictate and to subservience? Yes, they could very well use something like that as a scare tactic. And look, Bush used the most effective one that I've seen in my lifetime with the war on terror.